is Nancy Baker, Education Instructor with the ARC of Carroll County. We've been presenting videos on those who are searching for jobs, how to search for a job, what preparation you need to do, and then once you have a job, how are you going to keep it? So this is a video to help you with following employer expectations, what you can say and things that you can do that will help you keep your job. Now, I'm not going to have all of the employer expectations. Each employer may have a little bit of a different guideline for that, but some common sense ones that are not included would be not having lots of conversations within your work shift with other coworkers, preventing them from working as well as you not working. Another one would be putting something in the microwave during your break time that would smell up the entire area. So if you have fish, I wouldn't suggest bringing that in for your lunch and heating it up in the microwave. Another one would be cleaning up after yourself. If you've made a mess in the kitchen area, make sure you've cleaned it up. If there's a spill, your coffee cup got knocked over, make sure that it's cleaned up. Keep your work area tidy. Those, I'm going to say, are going without being presented here. So here are some employer expectations. The first one I have is the positive attitude. People may hear your words, but they feel your attitude. This is a quote by John Maxwell. No one can make you have a positive attitude. It's a choice that you're making. And I'm hoping that you will choose to have a positive attitude. So regardless of what has happened before you come to work, leave it at the door, come in, be positive throughout your shift. You'll find that that makes a big difference of not only how you feel, but how other people are interacting with you. Another expectation is having cooperation. Your boss will want you to work well with others, all working toward the common goals of the company. You want to do your fair share. Pitch in when others are behind schedule. Respect other people's opinions. These are all ways that you can show that you're willing to cooperate and be a team member. Be honest. This means telling the truth and no stealing. You want to be honest on your timesheet. Quick way to get fired is to falsify your timesheet, to put that you've worked more hours than you really did. So make sure that you keep good track of those, whether you are doing it on the computer, whether it's handwritten, whether you're swiping yourself in or scanning, punching yourself in some way. Lots of different methods for different employers to keep track of time. So make sure you're being honest with it. Be truthful with coworkers about your skill levels. If you're asked to do something and you don't know how, don't just say, oh yes, I'll do it. Ask the questions. I'm happy to do that if someone can show me how to do it. I've never done that before, but I would like to learn. So one of the worst things that could happen is if you don't know how to do something, you've spent whatever time, whether it's a half hour or an entire day, and then your supervisor comes over and says, oh, this is all wrong, then somebody else has to take time out of their schedule to correct that. Don't steal time. Like, how can I steal time? Well, if you're on the clock, if you're being paid to work, you don't want to be spending that time chatting with your coworkers. You don't want to spend that time, you're stealing time if you're taking breaks that are longer than what you have been told you may take for a break. If you've got a half-hour lunch, but you take 35 minutes, 45 minutes, on and on and on again. So again, that would be stealing time. If you're supposed to be working on something, but instead you decide I'm going to text or call my friends, that would be stealing time. If nobody's around, but you decide, hey, I'm going to play a computer game, I'm going to pull up solitaire for a couple minutes, again, that would be taking time away from your work and what you're being paid for. So that's what I call stealing time. And you don't want to steal company or other people's possessions. You're not going to go, hey, my printer at home is low, so I'm going to go ahead and just take this stack of paper at home. Oh, I ran out of pens. You don't grab those. Oh, these Post-its are great. I'm just going to take them home to use. Maybe my kid needs them for a school project. Or you find when you open up the refrigerator, hey, this looks really good. I don't know whose lunch it is, but I forgot mine. So don't steal people's lunches or part of their lunches. If you find that there's a coworker who's put candy out on their desk, don't think it's for anybody to help themselves. So again, being respectful of other people. Another thing that employers really like for their employees is when they show initiative. Showing initiative means that you're not always waiting to be told what to do. For example, you see a spill on the floor, you clean it up because you know it needs to be done and you can do it. You don't just pass by and go, oh, somebody else will get to it. For example, if someone has an armful of items and is having trouble opening the door, hopefully you don't just sit there and watch and go, gee, I wonder how long it's going to take them to figure this out. You're going to go over and say, hey, can I help you? Let me open that for you. That's showing initiative. If you finished work, what's been assigned to you, you don't just stand around and wait for someone else to come and tell you, hey, now that you're finished, start this. Take an initiative, whether it's going up and saying, hey, I finished, what else can I do? Or if you know there are things that you can do, go ahead and get started. Another thing employers are looking for is your willingness to learn new tasks. You are expected to learn how to do things the company's way. The more knowledge and skills you possess, the better. Perhaps you're coming from one restaurant to another and, hey, they used to do it this way at my old company. Doesn't mean that's the way they're going to do it at the new company. You want to learn how the company does things their way. And you will be a standout employee if you take the effort to learn more than just your own daily tasks. Again, that's showing initiative, you're paying attention to what's going around, and it may mean that you get a nice promotion or some kind of recognition. Another thing that employers expect you to do is when they're talking, they expect you to listen. And they want you to do what we call active listening, which means not only are you hearing what is being said, but you're understanding what is being said. And if for some reason you don't understand, ask questions and then follow those directions. Employees are expected to follow directions exactly as they're given. Do the work that is asked of you. So you've gotten, when you were hired, you were told you're going to do tasks A, B, and C. And then a supervisor or a boss comes up and says, hey, I need you to do this task. So, well, that's not my job. Well, yes, it is. It probably is. All job descriptions list the specific task requirements for a job, along with an additional phrase at the end that says, and other tasks as assigned. So there's a good possibility you will be asked to do things that weren't on your actual job description when you got hired. Maybe they're trying to give you more responsibility, or maybe it's something that needs to be done and you're the person who's closest. So go ahead and follow through with what they've asked. This is one of my favorite pictures. I know that you guys are not this age. We all were at some point. But I just love the face on this little girl. Show enthusiasm. Bosses love this. You're excited to be there. You have been looking forward to it. You're coming again with that positive attitude, being a team player, just ready to go, excited about it. So don't complain about tasks. You have a choice. Hopefully you are changing if something, oh, this is such a chore to do. I don't like doing it. You change that in your brain, in your mind, and think, I have a choice to do this. I can choose to do this the best that I can, or if I choose to make it a chore and just take my time doing it and maybe not do such a good job, that's a good way not to keep your job. So again, employers are expecting that enthusiasm and for that mindset to be, I'm here, it's a choice for me to be here, and I'm going to do my best. So find the positives in your job Don't dwell on those tasks that you don't care to do. Look forward to, hey, once I finish this, I get to go and do what I'd really like. Kind of like you eat your vegetables first most of the time before you get your dessert. Dependability and punctuality. You're expected to be at work for all of your shifts and to be on time. So what does it mean to be on time? Does it mean that you're walking in the door if you have your shift starts at 9 o'clock, you're coming out of the car, you're coming out of the bus, you walk there, you've used your bike, you're showing up at 9 o'clock. It means that you're ready to work at 9 o'clock. So you want to give yourself enough time to get into your workstation, to get into your building, put away your lunch, put away your coat, get yourself organized. If you're getting a cup of coffee to start your day, do all of that before the start of your shift. If you have to miss work, be sure to know what the company's policy is for requesting vacation or for calling out sick. And the reason requesting is in capital letters is that you can't tell your employer, I need to take a vacation. I'm going to be on vacation the first 2 weeks of January. It doesn't work that way in the work world. You need to request, and then you need to get approval for those vacation time. You need to find out, maybe there were 2 other people that have put in for those dates. Well, they can't just give everybody that same time off. The business wouldn't run. So again, it's a request, and the sooner you can get a request in for vacation, the more likely you are to get approved for it. Calling out sick, again, you'll want to know what your company's policy is for that. If you have an emergency, you cannot get to work, who do you have to speak with? Is it okay just to leave a message? There was one time when a coworker of mine left me a message on my phone saying she couldn't work, could I cover for her shift? Well, she didn't know that was my day off. I didn't check, and so the work didn't get done. So again, find out if you have to speak with someone, if you have to email several people, are you texting? What is the company's policy, and follow that. Constructive criticism. This is something you should accept and learn from. When I'm teaching my class and I cover this part, I talk about, I want the students to repeat. If I say, I love, they'll say criticism. So you want to love constructive criticism. This should be your motto. When someone is offering constructive criticism, you should listen, you should learn from it, ask questions when necessary, and thank the person for caring enough to want you to be a better employee. So what this means is they're taking their time to say, hey, I see how you're doing it, or I see you may be struggling, or I see you're doing it this way. Let me make this suggestion. I think you should try it this way. And then listen what they're saying, learn, ask questions, and thank them. A lot of times when you are being quote unquote corrected, people feel like they're coming down on me, they're telling me I can't do it right, they're always pointing out things I'm doing wrong. You should not be sulking, crying, throwing some kind of temper tantrum. Listen to it, and then as they walk away, just go back to doing it your old way. So that would be avoidance, snapping back, or one of my favorites I see a lot with students when they've been told, hey, you're doing this incorrectly, try doing it this way, or let me show you, is the eye rolling. So you want to avoid all of that in a workplace situation. So this is feedback they're giving you. So take it and be a better employee for it. Loyalty. Loyalty means you're having each other's back. You're not speaking badly about the company or your coworkers. You're being for the company and its work, not against it. You're not complaining about work or coworkers to your friends. Never posting anything negative on social media. Never sharing personal information about coworkers with others. Some examples. You may be out with friends, whether it's at a restaurant, at a park, at a movie theater, and you're just kind of chatting and you start complaining about something going on at work, whether it is the actual tasks that you've been told to do, whether it's coworkers, whether it's your boss, whether it's a company policy. You're just venting. Well, you may not know that people around you are overhearing you, and these may be people who can report back to someone in charge. It may be the boss's wife, it may be your coworker's brother, it could be a neighbor of someone who works there. So again, if you have a problem with what is going on at work, take it up in the proper channels, whether that means talking to your supervisor, talking to a department head, talking to your human resources person. That's where you want to be discussing these things, not out in public. Not sharing personal information about coworkers. Hey, this person lives at such and such a place. I can't believe this person's getting divorced. I can't believe that this person was telling us about their kids. So again, keep that at the office. Proper attire and grooming. Be sure to know the company's dress code. Wear clothes that are appropriate for your specific job. Be well groomed. Your appearance is an important part of your job. You may be told that you have to wear a nice shirt or blouse and a pair of slacks, but other people are coming in jeans and t-shirts. And you're like, well, that's not fair. Why do they get to wear the jeans? Well, it could be that their specific job is one that is more apt to be dirty. Maybe they're dealing with grease. Maybe they are cleaning out a closet that day. So just make sure that you know what your policies are for your particular job. So Maryland has something that's called employment at will. It's one of several states in our country that has this. And what that means is once you've been hired, they can pretty well fire you for whatever they want. There's some exceptions to that. The opposite side is also that you can quit at any time. You don't have to give notice, as in, I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice that I'm going to be leaving the company, or 1 week. You could just walk in one day and say, hey, I'm done. Hopefully that you'll take the more professional stance if possible and give them notice, and hopefully they're not just firing you for different reasons. But again, be mindful of this. So what does at-will employment mean? Well, it means that your employer can terminate, meaning fire, your employment for nearly any reason. But yes, there are some exceptions. If an employer does not like your attitude, you can be fired. If you make a single minor mistake on a job, you can be fired. If you fail to follow a rule or come to work 5 minutes late, you can be fired. If you tell a dumb joke or make an inappropriate comment, you can be fired. So you can be fired for nearly any reason that your employer wants to fire you. So be mindful of that. So we're coming to the end of the presentation. Though employers have a lot of expectations, you can do it. Follow these guidelines and you may find that your efforts will be applauded. Thank you for listening to this video. Check out the other videos from the Education Department at the ARC, and thank you for listening.